The desert sun beat down, a relentless hammer striking the earth. The air, thick with dust and the scent of parched earth, shimmered above the cracked ground. A lone figure. Judah stumbled, his feet dragging through the gritty sand. The caravan, a string of distant camels, had vanished over the horizon hours ago. He was alone, utterly terrifyingly alone. A dry cough tore from his throat, his tongue a sandpaper strip in his mouth. Water, he rasped, the word a mere whisper against the vast silence. His eyes, sunk in and bloodshot, scanned the empty expanse. He had been a fool, leaving the main path, convinced a shortcut would save time. Now, time was running out. Sudden sharp crack echoed, and Judah flinched, his head snapping up. A fissure thin as a spider's web snaked across the rock face beside him, then widened with a low groan, or crack spider-webbed, a sound like a giant sighing. The ground beneath his feet trembled. He fell, scrambling backward as a section of the cliff face peeled away, tumbling into the abyss below. A cloud of dust billowed, stinging his eyes. He clawed his way to his feet, his heart hammering against his ribs. The world reeled. He was lost, dehydrated, and now the very earth seemed to conspire against him. A bitter laugh, dry and humorless, escaped him. "Is this it, then?" he croaked, his voice cracking. "After all the years, all the striving, all the promises." His gaze fell upon a small, gnarled scrub bush, somehow clinging to life amidst the desolation. A single, vibrant green leaf unfurled, defying the harsh reality around it. He stared, a strange tremor running through him. A tiny, insignificant thing, yet it held on. Days bled into nights. Judah stumbled onward, a ghost in the landscape. His vision blurred, the heat a constant, oppressive weight. He hallucinated, seeing shimmering oases that vanished with a blink, hearing the mocking laughter of unseen spirits carried on the wind. Yet something urged him forward, a desperate, irrational hope. He spoke aloud, his voice hoarse to the empty air. "They're gone, all of them. Brothers, the flock, even the familiar path." He choked on the words, a raw ache in his chest. What good is a shepherd without his sheep? What use is a leader without his tribe? A memory, sharp and unwelcome, pierced through his delirium. His younger brother. Joseph, his face alight with dreams, the colorful coat a vibrant splash against the dusty camp, then the dark, swirling shame of their betrayal, the pit, the merchants sold. "He's gone too," Judah whispered, a tear carving a clean path through the grime on his cheek. "My own hands." Stained, he collapsed, the sand soft beneath him, a temporary reprieve. He lay there, staring up at the vast indifferent sky, the stars beginning to prickle through the fading light. A strange calm settled over him, a detachment from the pain, the fear. He felt utterly disconnected, severed from everything he knew, everything he was. It was a terrifying emptiness, yet in its depths, a tiny spark flickered. He drifted, half-conscious, for what felt like an eternity. When he next opened his eyes, the desert floor was bathed in the soft glow of dawn. The air felt cooler, a whisper of something new. He pushed himself up, his muscles screaming in protest. His eyes, still bleary, caught sight of it, a faint shimmer on the horizon. Not a mirage. Something real. He staggered towards it, every step in agony. The shimmer resolved into a distant line of palms, a verdant promise. Well? He stumbled the last few paces, collapsing at its edge, his hands plunging into the cool, life-giving water. He drank deeply, the relief, an almost painful shock. A figure emerged from the shade of the palms. Merchant, his face weathered, his eyes shrewd but not unkind. "Lost your way, traveler?" the merchant asked, his voice surprisingly gentle. Judah nodded, unable to speak, still gulping water. "There's a caravan heading south, to Egypt," the merchant offered. "They leave at dawn tomorrow. Long journey, but a safe one." Judah looked up, his gaze meeting the merchant's. Egypt. The word echoed in his mind, a strange resonance. He had nowhere else to go, no one else to be. I will go," he managed, his voice still rough. The next morning, Judah sat atop a camel, part of a new caravan heading south. The desert still stretched around them, but it no longer felt quite so hostile. The air, though warm, held a different quality, a subtle shift. He felt a deep, unfamiliar stirring within him, a sense of anticipation that defied his recent despair. He found himself praying not with desperation but with a quiet, persistent yearning, a new kind of hunger. "What is this feeling?" he murmured to himself, watching the endless horizon. "This restlessness? This pull towards something unknown?" The caravan moved steadily, days turning into weeks. Judah observed the other travelers, listened to their stories, and found himself speaking less, listening more. He felt a transformation, a shedding of old skin. The shame of his past still lingered, a dull throb, but it no longer consumed him. He felt different, lighter. One evening, as the sun dipped below the dunes, painting the sky in fiery hues, the lead merchant, a man named Eli, approached him. "You've been a quiet one, Judah," Eli observed, offering him a piece of dried fruit. "But I've watched you. You have a good eye for the land, a strength I recognize." Judah took the fruit, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. "I have nothing to offer but my labor." "Perhaps," Eli said, his gaze piercing. "But a man who has walked through the wilderness and found his way often has more to offer than he knows." Eli paused, then continued. "My cousin in Egypt seeks a man of loyalty and resource. He manages a great household, a vizier's estate. He needs someone to oversee his granaries, a man he can trust." Judah's breath hitched. Granaries, oversight, trust. It was an opportunity he hadn't dared to dream of, a path laid out before him, seemingly from nowhere. He thought of Joseph, the dreamer, the one who saw visions of grain. A shiver ran down his spine. "Egypt," he repeated, the word now tasting like destiny. He arrived in Egypt, a city of wonders, unlike anything he had ever seen. The air buzzed with a vibrant energy. The vizier's estate was vast, teeming with activity. Eli's cousin, a stern but fair man, put Judah to work. He learned quickly his innate understanding of cycles, of growth, of sustenance, coming to the fore. Managed the stores, oversaw the harvests, his mind sharp, his judgment sound. Months turned into years. Judah rose through the ranks, his reputation for integrity and wisdom growing. He had found his purpose, a place where his skills were valued, where he could serve. He had not sought this, had not even known to ask. It had simply presented itself, an unfolding path. One day a messenger arrived, breathless from the vizier. "A famine," he gasped, his eyes wide with fear. The Nile runs low. The pharaoh dreams of lean years, 7 of them, and no one can interpret his visions. Judah felt a jolt. Dreams, visions, lean years. He remembered Joseph's dreams, the fat cows and the lean cows, the full ears and the blighted ones. A cold dread, mixed with a strange, undeniable anticipation, settled in his gut. "The vizier seeks a man of wisdom," the messenger continued, "one who can discern the will of the gods in these matters." Judah stood, his heart thrumming. He walked through the bustling marketplace, the murmur of worried voices growing louder. People spoke of a young Hebrew imprisoned for years, who had interpreted dreams for the pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. A man of impossible insight, they said. A man of God. He made his way to the vizier's chambers, his mind a whirlwind. He felt the weight of his past, the shadow of his sin, but also a fierce, unyielding sense of something greater at play. He stood before the vizier, his head bowed. "I have heard of this man," Judah began, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. "The prisoner, he has a gift, unique understanding." The vizier, a man whose face rarely betrayed emotion, looked at Judah with a new intensity. "You speak with conviction. Do you believe he can help us?" "I believe," Judah said, his gaze firm, "that sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the most profound answers. And sometimes the most broken among us are the ones chosen to heal." The vizier nodded slowly. "Bring him forth, then." Hebrew. Let us see what he has to say. Hours later, Judah stood in the great hall of Pharaoh, among the highest officials of Egypt. A man dressed simply, but carrying himself with an undeniable authority, stood before Pharaoh, his eyes clear and intelligent. Judah's breath caught in his throat. The curve of his nose, the set of his jaw, the way he held himself. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The man spoke, his voice calm, resonant. 7 years of abundant harvest are coming, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Judah's vision blurred. The words, the voice, the man, it was him, it had to be. He took a step forward, then another, his legs feeling like lead. A gasp escaped him, a raw, choked sound. Joseph, he whispered, the name a fragile thing caught in the vast hall. The man turned, his eyes, so familiar yet so aged, met Judah's. A flicker of recognition, then a profound understanding bloomed in their depths. A single tear tracked down Joseph's face. The world tilted. The years of wandering, the intense challenges, the painful disconnections, the spiritual restlessness, the unexpected opportunities, all of it coalesced into this single, overwhelming moment. Judah fell to his knees, a sob tearing from him. The desert, the shame, the loneliness, the unexpected path to Egypt, it all made sense. God had been working, even when he couldn't see it, preparing them both for this moment, for something far greater than either of them could have imagined.